Next up, we have Neill Boyd, and I'm going to really enjoy pressing the buzzer for this one.
Don't know what you mean. Bonan Vesperon. Does anyone know what I just said? Don't worry, I haven't just raised the dead. Instead, I've actually spoke a bit of Esperanto. So anyone know what Esperanto is? Yep, a couple of people. So it's basically an auxiliary language that was created in 1887, which basically was, it allowed people from different countries who don't speak the same language to learn one universal language and talk to each other without having to know each other's individual separate languages. So somebody from China could talk to somebody in England using Esperanto and not Chinese or English. So why do I think that is in any way related to testing? Because I view companies, teams, and sites almost like different countries. We all use different terms for things that we all do on a daily basis. So for example, integration testing and end-to-end testing are terms I hear all the time and get used almost interchangeably. Same can be said sometimes for one that I heard the other day, performance and load testing. What do people mean when they say one or the other? There's usually a lot of confusion around that, and then you get things like unit testing and functional testing can be used interchangeably, systems integration testing and non-functional testing I've heard used interchangeably. So what I would like to see in testing is a universal auxiliary language that when we say one term in testing, we all know what we're talking about. And that doesn't have to be a language that we all use globally in the testing world. That could be something within your own individual organization. So when you're talking to developers and you talk about systems integration testing, and they talk about unit testing, you might know what you're talking about in the same thing. So it's just a way to kind of get people to talk the same language without causing confusion in the workplace. Questions?
Is that not what ISTQB attempts to do and fails miserably?
I don't agree with that, no. I think ISTQB tries to set a standard globally for all testers. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about setting a terminology within your own organization so people within your own company know what the hell you're talking about. So I had an example the other couple of weeks back where a developer I was working with, a guy called Tyndall, was talking about what he called systems integration testing. What he really meant was unit testing using mocks. Whereas we were talking about integration tests and we meant talking about systems actually talking to each other and actually integrating with each other. So already when he was talking about one thing, I had no idea what the hell he actually meant. Whereas if we actually had this kind of set of terminologies within our organization, then we both would have known. So I'm not advocating for like one sweeping rule of you must say this, which is what I believe ISTQB tends to do. And arguably so do some of the other training courses out there.
So sorry for the following question.
That's fine.
I enjoy understanding origins of language. Well, maybe enjoy is too strong, but...
Etymology, right? That's the term?
Yes. I think one of my favorite definitions is of what semantic actually means. But anyhow, one of Michael Bolton's things is there's 6 definitions of the word standard. So not everybody cares about reaching that agreed understanding. It's kind of like boils down to just do the work type attitudes. So how do you counter that?
Well, the problem there isn't necessarily technology. The problem there is English is a bit of a bollock to learn. I can guarantee you, and I don't know this because I can't actually speak Esperanto, so I've been found out of it, but I can guarantee you in Esperanto there's one word for standard and one meaning for standard. Whereas English is the problem there. I wouldn't blame technology or anything like that. I actually think it's just our uses, or how we use English sucks a lot. I'm okay with it.
So just a follow-on question to Hugh. Why define failing miserably?
Well, that was
Okay.
So I think it's just back to Neill's point that the goal wasn't achieved because at the very least, every company has their own definition.
Aye, fair enough. Okay.
So to kind of parallel back to what I was speaking about, I would see the individual companies as countries who have their own language, who say things in their own way, or even probably more roles within that company have their own language to say things. So getting a kind of universal language between functions in an organization is the better approach.
How would you go about it?
Oh, I haven't done it yet. I'm in the middle of trying to do this. The biggest thing is really just to start hitting people over the head with the terminology, and if they get it wrong, literally just say, actually, what do you mean by that? Sit down with them, talk them through it, and don't just assume they know what they're talking about because they're Mr. Developer in the corner and they've got long hair and know what they're doing. I don't think that's relevant, but anyway. No, it just all comes down to using the terminology more often and correcting people, even if you look like a complete and utter ass for the first 10 times you do it. I think it's worth it.